Kal Kadosh, Boker Or, Bekiim Bahalacha 5, day 12, Siman Lamed Bet 32, right? We are in the middle of Halacha Lamed Gimel. We're talking about the Sirtut Shurot. We're talking about like the lines. Remember the lines is that on a Sefer Torah or Tefilin, I don't know if you ever saw it, Yesh Lecha Kavim. Ken, ze nira kemo mamash with a ruler. It looks like a yes. On all the Tefilin, also Yad. No. You're talking about lines on the outside of the box. I'm talking about on the scroll. On the scroll, whenever you're making a scroll, even a Megillah, take whatever it is, there's lines. That's called Sirtut. Okay? So let's start. If someone does not possess a skill, if you don't, doesn't have the skill to write the straight lines unless it's going to be with Sirtut, yesartet kol hashurot. He has to do all the shurot. That's a minhag hayom. Lesartet parashiot atfilin ulchol shurot milmala lemata v'chem min hatzadim also from the side. So therefore, nowadays basically it's a minhag of doing everything. Okay. Look at number 28. A scribe who cannot write straight lines. He says technically on the bottom, ken lemata. Technically, it's necessary to score only the top line of a tefillin scroll. The scribe should be able to write the remainder of the scroll in straight lines since he can guide himself following the top line, right? But he says, but if he doesn't know to do that, so then he has to actually do every single line. Okay. What about a skillful scribe? Can he score? Can he do it? So it says, even if the scribe is capable of writing straight lines once on the top, and then that's it, he could still do it, right? With no problem, because he does the extra lines for this purpose. He understands technically does not have to score them. But again, it's just, he's not considered a pashut. So the lifamim, in kol hamosif gorea, or im ata mosif nikra idiot, right? Here he's not like that. He's allowed to add the extra lines in between. Okay. How the scribe follows the score line. So for the Torah, right, he comes and he says, for the Torah scrolls and mezuzot, he comes and he says, every single one, right, he comes and he says like this, he says, for the Torah scrolls and mezuzot, each line in the parchment must be scored, and if it's not, the scroll is not kosher. Once the lines are scored, the scribe must write the top of each letter adjacent to the scoring of the line. If the scribe fears that the ink will spread along the scored line and ruin the letters he's writing, he may write the letters just below the scoring. Okay? Fine. For tefillin scrolls, there's technically no need for scoring, right? Even if the text is not written in the straight lines, it's still going to be kosher. What about the sirtut? So the lines must be scored straight. The Maasef Lechol Machanot rule that if someone scores curved lines or different angles, so it's not considered scored. And then again, since the concept of meaning the entire purpose of doing the sirtut, scoring here is making the lines, yeah? That's the scoring. So he says the entire purpose of making it is to make it nice. If you're going to start making it like all crooked, what nice did you make it? What about the bottom of the letters? A beginner scribe might find it helpful to score the bottom of each line also, beside the top of the lines, to guide him so that he writes each letter the same size. The Maramshik ruled that this is permissible and that we don't have to fear about that people are going to get confused or whatever it is. Nevertheless, he concluded that if the scribe can write uniform letters without that, he shouldn't do that. The issue is more important regarding Torah scrolls and mezuzah scrolls. Regarding tefillin, even the scoring at the beginning, the top is technically unnecessary. So therefore, it makes little difference whether he did it also on the bottom, right, or not. Okay? Meaning like this. No one has seen that or not? Come, I'm going to show you. Let me put this on pause. Halacha lamed daled. The scribe must not use lead implement to score the parchment, since lead is soft and will likely mark the parchment with gray lines. No implement that might mark the parchment in any color may be used. Furthermore, it's forbidden to emboss the parchment on either side, identifying the figure, even if no color is used. So, to minute, kodem kol asur la'asot ze im plom. So, there is a plom, oferet, right? So he says because it's misartetet in nishat savua. אותו דבר, אתה לא יכול להשתמש בכל מיני צבעים, שחור, אדום, not allowed to. ואז הוא אומר גם כן, אי אפשר לעשות צורת חותם, אף שעשוי לזיהוי שמינה מגניבה, או מה שנדבק ודברים האלה, זה הכל אסור. Here brings on the footnote, the Shulchan Aruch does mention lead specifically, because it could leave a gray mark. It's best to use a dull blade, or a similar implement. Okay? Number 31 says that Kol Yaakov cited poskim who ruled that if the parchment is scored with color lines, it's not kosher, but others ruled that it is kosher. Mishambra ruled leniently, but cited the response of Devar Shemuel that scoring leaves the black lines in the parchment, it's not kosher, since a black line will connect to each letter, ואז זה אסור. זאת אומרת ככה, עכשיו אתה עושה את הקווים, אם אתה עושה את הקו עם משהו של זה שחור, מה קורה? כשאני כותב אות, השחור של הקו מתדבק בשחור של הדיו. It connects, and then it becomes פסוק. So they take a ruler, and they make a line. No ink. Sometimes it's like a dull knife, or like a pointed object. Yeah. Sometimes, I'll give you an example. By the Gitin, many times they use a fishing rod. So to אומרת, הם ייקחו איזה דף, איזה משהו, איזה טבלה, and they're going to put lines, very straight lines of fishing rod. And then they put the cloth on top, and they put their finger, and they press. And then automatically it becomes indented. And that's how they do the lines there. But usually if you're doing it for Tefilin, Mizot, things like that, they don't use that. That's usually more for Gitin. Usually for Gitin, and for the other things they use, it's like a pointed object, and they make lines. Okay? Fine. All the poskim agree, Lamed Hey, Hasitut en tzarich liot lishma lechol hadeot. All the poskim agree that they don't have to be lishma according to all opinions. Whether so, therefore, you're allowed to use them for the mitzvah of tefillin or whatever it is. There's no problem whatsoever.